we return to this book with another game from the chapter 1. This is game number 3. In game number 3, it's played between Max Waterman and Eric van den Doel. The topic is coordination, and here it says, sometimes things are a little more subtle. My friend Max Waterman played a beautiful game on his way to his fourth Dutch championship title. Waterman used his space advantage to split the enemy forces, which allowed him to create threats all over the board. So we see a space advantage that creates threats all over the board. Let's see. Knight f3, d5, g3, bishop g4, bishop g2. Here it says, even these timid looking opening schemes are nowadays employed from time to time to pose difficult questions. Knight d7, h3. This forces black to commit very early on. Either he goes for an inferior diagonal or he gives up the bishop pair. So what does he do? He played bishop h5. Notice, guys, that Warmerdam was in that time, I think, 2595, and black was 2600, so black was definitely a grandmaster. Okay. c4, the attack is on the center, e6, d4, c6, c takes d5, e takes d5, knight c3, knight g f6, and now there is a very interesting move by white, which is knight e5. Here it says, very interesting, white opts to command the center before finishing his development. The threat is now to strengthen the knight with f4. So practically he would get e5 no matter what, and it becomes a pawn in black's territory. So Nepomniachtchi employed this scheme successfully in the candidates tournament against Duda in Madrid 2022. Okay, so after knight e5, black answer with knight takes e5, d takes e5, and then we have knight d7. Of course, this is attack. You want to support it. Obviously, white plays f4. Now, black tries something that is really a little strange. He plays f5. And here it says, the start of black's problem. He was probably uncomfortable about the prospects of a bishop on h5. However, there was no need to worry yet, as black had a solid alternative. So the solid alternative here, it seems it was bishop c5. I don't know. So let's see. Here the bishop c5. So let's see the line, because I think it's kind of interesting, because obviously here the author is saying, oops, where do you go? It's gone, right? So that's the reason because he played this. But he says this would solve the problem. I don't know. Knight a4. The bishop must be kicked out, otherwise white can never castle. Then we have bishop b4 check. Bishop d2, bishop takes d2, And this is the fourth time that we see this important defensive idea. If you're lacking space, it is often a good idea to exchange pieces. So I'm happy that I show you this line because yes, this is an important law of chess and is not really hidden. With less pieces on the board, the side with the space advantage finds it more difficult to create threats. Here it still looks dangerous for black. So how can he solve the issues of a bishop on h5? As it turns out, black has a very neat tactical solution. After queen takes d2, there is queen e7. Black prepares f6. So now the immediate attempt to trap the bishop fails beautifully. Let's see, g4, queen h4 check, king f1, bishop g6, and here there is a huge mistake, which is f5. Why is a big mistake? Try to see it because it's very important. You need to watch for a minute and understand what black can do. So sometimes, guys, it's not only important what you should find for white, but you should think also for black. What if black plays so? And here is bishop takes f5. Why is such a good idea? Because if you take, ta-da, this is gone. So as you can see, this is the reason. Now, my problem with this line is that we are at move 17. I doubt that black would have seen all of this in OTB because we are more than 6 moves away. No, I think a computer found it. A computer found it. The author doesn't tell us who did it, but I think it's obvious that a computer found this line. Now let me bring the pieces back and let's see what we can do. Let's see if it was here. Yes, I think this was here, this was here, and I think everybody should be in place right now. Yeah, okay, so after f4, because white just played f4, and this was here, sorry, this was here, black played f5. Okay, and we said that this is bad because in reality there was this tactical ideas that I don't think anybody would see in a game. And honestly, just to tell you the truth, I mean, the black guy is at 2600. I'm sorry to tell you the truth, but 2600 is at least in the first 100 players in the world, clearly. It's not the average club player like me or the people who watch my videos, with all due respect, because maybe there are even a FIDE master that watches my video, but I don't think, if a 2600 doesn't see it, how would someone that is rated 2000? I don't know, guys. Okay, so after 11 f5, guess what? White plays this, asking the question, what do you do now? Obviously white didn't play this, that would have been maybe what black wanted, right? Here he says a flexible move, which leaves black guessing where white is going to put his king. Yeah, because now he could eventually also castle on that side, right? So here there is another mistake by black, which is g6. And it says now the bishop remains stuck on h5, cut off from the rest of black's army. Remarkably, there is no immediate plan for white to trap the bishop, so he needs to resort to positional play. And this is a good thing about the book. The book tells you also what should have been. It says queen b6 should have been an interesting alternative, and gives an analysis about it, okay? So you know that there was something better than g6. The book continues with bishop e3, queen a5, and rook c1, bishop e7, castle, knight b6, king h2, and also black castle. You see, guys, however, there is a huge problem here. If you remove all the pieces, and it's not even about space either, honestly, it's that this pass pawn is supported. So black will need to use something to block it. It's a problem. It's a huge problem, right? So for me, that's a huge problem. And here it says the difference in coordination are visible due to white's space advantage, which springs from the protected pass pawn on e5. He was able to disconnect the black pieces. Now it's white's job to further improve his position without giving his opponent any hope for counterplay. So how does this continue? Rook f d1, rook a d8, bishop f2, king h8, e3, knight c4, rook d3. White makes a series of prophylactic moves whilst preparing to advance on the queen side with b2, b4. Very good. So yeah, what does this mean? And this is a great example of modern play. Before attacking, they always cover all the possibility that you, as black in this case, create some havoc or chaos. They block everything possible, then they will attack. How does black continue? Black plays g5. Black is finally organizing some counterplay. However, an assault on the white king is unrealistic, as half of black's army is standing on the wrong side of town. So this is the problem, right? The queen that generally is used to create a big attack is on this side. Instead, it should be on this side. And also the pieces, this is in the center. Yeah, these are here, but this is on this side. I don't know, honestly. I don't have any idea if it can work. Knight e4 is how white continue, h6, and now there is b3. Warmerdam now invests a pawn to further displace the black pieces. This, honestly, guys, is a very great move, and many people will not understand why, but I can tell you one thing. I won once a game against a computer from the early 2000s, so not an engine from today, but still a very strong engine, like 2300, because I brought his pieces on one side, I made him gain material, like in this case, and guess what? When all the pieces were on the side, my pieces were on the other, and they were unstoppable. So why did it work? Because it went beyond the horizon of the engine to evaluate and find a defensive solution. And here it's the same idea, okay? So you have a similar idea. Queen b2, knight b5, knight c5, and queen b6. Here it says, even though Van den Doyle has been on the ropes for the entire game, he shows his class here by defending tenaciously. Obviously, it is dangerous for a queen to stand in the line of sight of an enemy rook or bishop. Okay? But when the situation is delicate, risky operations are mandatory. So what is going to play now white? Try to guess what is the white move, eventually pause and try to think a little, okay? B4, further securing the knight and cutting off the diagonal towards A3. So it's cutting off this diagonal, okay? Interestingly, prophylactic moves that protect the bishop, such as King G1 or Bishop G1, give black a way back into the game. And here it gives a line, okay? So who knows if white actually found them. But let's see. So after b4, black plays rook f7, king g1, rook g8, knight e6, and this attack this, so it's kind of very interesting. d4, because these two can defend, and knight takes d4. White has finally won back the pawn, while he continues to dominate the position. Warmerdam, who played a superb game up to this point, now has some trouble finishing off. Let's see what is the trouble. Knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, c5, and now white, it seems he blunders. What do you think he played? It seems that to win it's enough to play bishop b takes c5, queen takes b2, and bishop takes b2. He says, and this is sufficient for victory. Instead, white played e6, check, right? C takes d4, so this is a kind of a complication that he's talking about, but now there is e takes f7, and it says, and then rook d8. And here it says, at the cost of an exchange, black has finally generated some coordination and activity. Obviously, white is still winning with correct play, but anything can happen in time trouble. So let's see what happened. e3, bishop f6, rook c5, bishop takes f7, e takes d4, g takes f4, and here another mistake by white, which seems gives all away. With g takes f4, the mistake that gives it all away. Suddenly all black's pieces are coordinating beautifully, which makes up for the material deficit. Apparently, the move to play was queen d2. And that would have kept white with a winning advantage, okay? But this is the important thing. Black is a gentleman and gives back away immediately the advantage, because he also blundered with queen d6. The move to play was a5, for those who are interested to know. Instead, after queen d6, white continue with queen d2, bishop takes d4, check, king h1, And here it says white is totally back in control. The pin on the d file is decisive. Why? Because after bishop takes c5, rook takes d6, rook takes d6, there is, boom, queen c3. And after this move, whoops, how do you defend everything? So after queen c7, black resign. Here it says a nice game by Warmerdam, ingenious play in the opening and early middle game granted him a promising position. White's central pawn formation split the enemy forces, black's lack of space made him struggle to find active ideas. In the meantime, white was able to maneuver around freely, which allowed him to seize the initiative on the queen side. Often, if you defend well, you will get an opportunity to make a comeback. Van den Doel indeed put up quite some resistance, but when his opportunity came on move 35, he missed it. Okay, so this was game number 3 of the book The Hidden Laws of Chess. I hope you enjoyed it and saw how difficult is chess. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.